Attention deficit, can I get your attention please? My sound is so...
What's up dudes, this is Two Stroke Todd, and this is like my third take at this video due to me having a few rides and it being way too long and basically uneditable because of the length. So I'm going to try and keep it short and snappy, and I'm basically going to give you a few updates on this bike. They're quite important actually. I'm also going to give you an update on something that's going on next week, which is very exciting, I'm sure, for you as well as me. And what was that third thing? Oh yeah, I'm going to continue that story from last video. So we'll start with the story. Where was I? I believe I left off at I'd found out where this guy was. Quick briefing if you haven't seen the video. I found out some guy that I didn't really know that well, kind of did. He had assaulted my ex-girlfriend, or one of my ex-girlfriends, and she's quite close to me, you know, so it felt like it happened to family in a way. And it was with a glass bottle, and it was pretty nasty. She broke her nose, he broke her nose. So anyway, so like I said in the last video, I don't usually fight for no reason. I never fight for no reason. So I only fight when I feel like I have to. Whether that's me being in a dangerous situation, or I feel like someone's hurt my family, or someone's hurt someone close to me and they need payback. So I found out where this guy was. This is moments after I got told about what had just happened. I was very, very, very angry. I've not been that angry in my life, I don't think. And I found out where it was, so I got one of my mates, who also is quite close to this girl, and I said, you know, this has happened, we need to sort this out. And he agreed, not that he'd do anything about it, I had to do that, but so we found this guy. I couldn't track him, but I knew where he was, so I rang him up and I told him that I wanted to see him. Anyway, so after hours and hours of them basically cat and mouse game, them walking off, and then I was trying to find out where the fuck they were, managed to find him, and it was not as expected. He was with another person who is absolutely fucking notorious for being possibly one of the most fucked up crazy people I've ever met. Like, I don't know anyone who would willingly fight him. I mean, this sounds really immature, but he's just a nutcase. He'll stab you. He's a dangerous guy, and you don't want anything to do with him. And he's fucking massive as well. So he shows up with this guy, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's really messed things up for me. And I had to really think what to do now, because it was inevitable this big guy was going to not let anything happen to his mate, and it was going to jump in if anything went down. After a bit of talking, I guess you could call it, and this guy trying to prove his innocence to me, we just ended up saying, you know, fuck it, let's just do this. Just as we were about to fight, the big guy that the guy I was talking about, he really is not a nice character, flashed me a knife and said, "I'm not messing around," that's what he said in his own words. And that kind of put me in a weird state of mind, really. I didn't know if I should have this fight because of what could happen if I did. This guy kind of told me that he was serious about it, and he wanted to stab me. He actually did say the words, in his own words again, I'll say, they wanted to stab me. So I mean, this sounds really immature, and to be honest, at the time it never really sunk in, and I didn't really know what the fuck to do, because I was really wanted to get my own back on this guy who just really fucked up a girl that was innocent. And then at the same time, there's a consequence if I do it that could risk my life. So I mean, I was pretty like, oh fuck, what do I do? I ended up saying, look, if you jump in, then No, I don't know. I said don't fucking jump in, just leave it. And I tried my best to push that, but I knew it wouldn't get me anywhere. So I didn't want to look like a pussy. There was quite a few people there, a lot of them girls that were fucking sexy. So no, that's inappropriate. There were some nice girls there that I knew quite well, and they thought quite highly of me. So I didn't really want to make myself look like a knob. So what I ended up doing is having to agree to this fight that I got myself into, and I didn't want to look like a pussy. Like I didn't want to hit him once and then I don't know, get knocked out and me look like I got a lucky shot or anything like that. I wanted it to stick with him that he was going to lose this fight, and it was in front of a lot of people, and that he deserved it. And I was quite confident about that was going to happen, and it did to an extent. So I let him hit me first. He got an alright shot on my left ear, which ended up hurting quite a bit for a few weeks after what happened, or a week after. And as soon as I hit me on my ear, I kind of just did what I came to do and started hitting him and hitting him and hitting him and hitting him, and he was grappling me. He was really in my face, trying to stop the fight, I guess. He was really hugging me, if you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever seen a fight, sometimes people, their opponent trying to hug you and stuff, but lucky for me, he couldn't really get any hits in, because he was putting himself in a stupid situation by hugging me, and I managed to what did I do now? Yeah, so I managed to grab his jacket and put it over his head, and then I had him then, and it was good for me. So that was all right for me. And I think what ended that was I had him in a position where I could have really given him some serious damage. I could have kneed him and probably broke his nose, because I had his head down while I was hitting him, and I could have just kneed up. But this guy with the knife was about a fucking meter away from us both, ready to jump in, and he already didn't like what he was seeing. So I thought, no, everyone was going, Harvey, fucking knee him, Harvey, you know, knee him, get him, finish him off, because everyone hated this guy for what he did, and he's scum, pure scum. And but I wanted to do it so bad, but that chance of getting stabbed, it wasn't worth it to me. So I where are we? So I resisted, and I kept hitting him, and it was getting to the point now where, oh fuck. Sorry. Right, anyway, so I was getting to the point where he had no really any chance anymore. He was running out of breath, and I'd finished him off. I'd done what I wanted to do, not really as much as I wanted, but there was that guy there, and this guy came running in, and he split the fight up, and then he said, this guy wanted to see a fight. He was really sick. He was fucked up. He's like, yeah, take your jackets off now. We're not having that again. Start it again. And this guy was, yeah, he could hardly get up. He was fucked. And then he went over to this guy who I was obviously fighting. He went over to him. The guy with the knife went over to him, and he said, "Can I take your place?" And I was like, "Fuck." And he said, "Yeah, take it." So this guy with the knife, he was excited. He wanted to really get me. And I didn't want to let that happen. Not for the reason that he had a knife, although that was one of the reasons. It was, the main reason was that that if you fight this guy once, he's gonna hate you and want to fight you for the rest of life. Every time he sees you, he's gonna want to fight you. It doesn't end that night, and that I don't have time for that. I'm not in school anymore. I'm not willing to let that happen just over some stupid thing. So I'm fucking luckily managed to get myself out of it. Every time I said no, I'm not fucking fighting you for the simple reason of this, that, or that. You've got a knife, you're a coward, all this shit. I mean, he still wouldn't let it go. He still wanted to do it. But anyways, I managed to wriggle myself out of it. It was a fucking close call. The whole fucking time I was up against the wall with this guy with the knife there. I had my hand in my pocket, and I didn't use this in the first fight because it's too risky, and I'm not that sort of guy. But I had, just in case of a situation, I had this knuckle duster in my pocket. I was just holding on to it, fucking life, just thinking, fuck. If this guy tries to swing a knife, or if he even pulls his hand out of his pocket, then I'm just gonna have to do this and hope for the best. But I didn't want to do that because I knew that if I did hit him with that knuckle duster, and he, there's a fucking small chance that he wouldn't have gone down and he wouldn't have been knocked out. And if I did that, then I probably would have been fucked, because I know 10 times that a knife is 10 times fucking worse than a knuckle duster. B, he knocked himself, I knocked him out, everyone saw it, and then he would come after me another day, probably a lot worse because I used a weapon on him. So it was a really stupid situation that I had to get myself out of by looking like a fucking pussy. But at the end of the day, I did what I wanted to do. I came and I taught a guy a lesson who beat a woman with a fucking bottle. So I did what I wanted to do, and I'm glad of that. And I know a lot of people there, if not everyone there, knew that I couldn't really have done anything with that second situation that managed to happen, and that was it really. I might add now just a quick disclaimer that that story was 100% fictional, so don't bother fucking whining about it. Not to me obviously, but I know some people are like. Okay, topic 2, dudes. Thank you for listening to that story. I'm not in the best mood to talk about it, but I mean, I didn't want to leave you guys hanging and never say it. So that was the story, dudes. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know. Is it that sort of an enjoyable story? Fuck knows. I've got hardly any battery left on my camera, so let's just squeeze these last 2 things in. Update on the bike. Not good news, but it is good news. I don't know if I said it in my last video. The bike, no I didn't, obviously not. The bike, when it came to me, had been sat for 3 years, okay? So I'd serviced untouched. So I imagined that this problem that I've got would be because a part had seized. And what the problem is the power valve isn't opening at the RPM it should, which means I'm not getting the big boost, which means I can't wheelie without clutch very well, which means I can't wheelie in which means I can't wheelie in 3rd gear. So it was really put back in it. I really didn't like it. So anyway, what I did is I rang up warranty, all that shit, wanted to get this power valve fixed. I was only hitting 78 miles per hour instead of the quoted 97 miles per hour, which was what this bike should do and is supposed to do. I got the bike checked out, and bad news, guys, for me, but good news in a way. There are no parts broken on this bike. The bike is fully working, but, and this will help out the guys that told me this bike can't do that, this bike can't do this, but the bike is restricted. Because of UK law, or EU law, this bike has not been restricted to 15 horsepower. Remember, this is the full power model, so it's not the 11 kilowatt. It's still got the power valve, it's still got the things that the full power's got. But because I live in England, they've restricted it in the exhaust, in the CDI, fucking close, and in the carb. I don't know. Yeah, I think carb. They've restricted it in 3 or 4 places, and it's not the end of the world. I can de-restrict it, and I will do. But it's good that it means that nothing's broke. But that's why I wasn't hitting the top speed, and that's why I wasn't getting the acceleration that I wanted to get. So but it's still fucking decent, and I'm happy that nothing's broke on it, because I was scared while riding it, thinking, oh, why am I riding a broken bike? But it means that it can't take a huge whapping, because at 7,900 RPM, the whole bike prepares itself for the power valve to open up, and that means more fuel. That I think, anyway. You can quote me if I'm wrong. If you can tell me if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, the bike sounds different, feels different, and I don't get much more power gain, what I should, at 7,900. So it is a bit different, but that should be fixed soon. I've got an appointment on Monday for a quoting and a sort of meeting about it, seeing what we need doing and what. I'm going right. There's a sweet road for bikes, so it should be able soon. But I'm glad it means the bike's not broken. And the second big news is awesome news, and that news is good for you guys and me. I'm going on a motorcycle tour. That's what I'm going to call it. Next week, well, on the 14th of this month, I'm going on a tour. Well, I don't know if I should call it a tour. I'm going to a friend's house who has he's got a nice bike. He's just bought a new Honda Rebel. Yeah, twin cylinder, fucking nice bike. And well, fucking silly car. And we're going down for 5 days, I think. And all throughout that time we're going to be riding, vlogging, making cool videos, visiting different places, maybe go out on a 3-day trip sort of thing, that sort of thing. We're just going to have an awesome time. It's going to be all on camera, hopefully. I'm all prepared for it. I've got my shit that I need. I've got, well, I've got loads of two-stroke oil. So yeah, you should hopefully, I'm going to Aylesbury, so I mean if any of you guys are in Aylesbury, shit, I could probably link up for a few hours. Or we could anyway, me and Jonathan, yeah. So yeah, anyways, Aylesbury happens to be my not birthplace, but where I spent most of my life. The first, I think it was 11 or, yeah, I think the first 11, 12 years of my life. Not the first, fuck. I spent 11 or 10 years of my life there, sorry. And it was a really important, it's a really nostalgic place for me. I haven't been since, and I am very, very excited. So I'm going to be showing you guys, you know, where I used to live, all that cool stuff. I'm going to have a cool little tour, I guess. Hopefully, maybe, who knows. But most importantly, I'm going to see Jonathan, who I haven't seen in, well, fucking years, mate. Probably about 7 years. And he's an awesome guy, and he rides motorbikes too, and he's going to start vlogging as well, hopefully. And yeah, you guys are probably going to become quite, you'll know him anyway. So yeah, guys, thanks very much for watching. This has been Two Stroke Todd. Sorry for the long video. I know it hasn't been short like I wanted it to. See what I mean? I can't wheelie in third gear. But anyways, thanks very much for watching, dudes. Expect some awesome videos either next week or the week after from this thing I'm doing. Thanks very much for waiting for this video. I know it's been more than a week now, I think, since I told you I'd post it. Oh, sorry, since I posted my last video. I've just been very, very fucking busy. So yeah, bye-bye.
Attention deficit, can I get your attention please? My sound is so hyperactive, and I come to this